Hello and welcome back to the Iron Man WoW challenge with me, Sheppy. We are in Outland. We have cleared vanilla. It's so good. So good to be nearly level 60. We're not quite there yet. But before we get on, I just have to... I'm saying this very sheepishly. I just have to make a couple of apologies about the next episode or two. In terms of quality, I've had to go into 720p, which is, oh my god, so bad quality. The reason for that is when I was playing this, I was recording and streaming at the same time, which is something I've done before. There's not a problem with that. However, the footage that I recorded for this play segment was kind of like, it came out all weird. It was like half frame rate or something, really jerky. Looked like shit, so that's not good enough for you. I'd rather it plays back smoothly but it's in a slightly lower resolution. So this is a copy of the stream here. Also that means it's in 720p, and the sound quality was awful. When I record, I have the sound in one track and my voice in another, so I can separate them out at a later date, and that's all pretty cool. With the stream I can't do that, it's all recorded together, which means I can't fast forward it and have the sound. Blah blah blah. Ultimately you're gonna have to put up with it for this episode. I think the quality is still okay though. Right, enough of that. Hopefully it'll make you appreciate 1080p when we come back to that, because it does look a little bit better, I think. Right, so anyway, we're in Hellfire Peninsula. I'm excited about this. I don't know about you. No? Well anyway, Hellfire Peninsula, a big step up in difficulty in terms of what we've been dealing with in vanilla. In the past couple of levels and zones, there wasn't really a massive amount of challenge. It was really kind of the end of the tunnel of vanilla was in sight, and it did kind of get a bit easier when we hit level 58, and I think that's probably something to do with the fact that Blizzard expects us to come to Outland at 58 and deal with the big step up in difficulty there. Why is there a big step up in difficulty? Well, let's take a trip down memory lane. If you were raiding at the end of vanilla, or I guess at the end of TBC, or at the end of Wrath, you know how this works. Chances are you've got really good raiding gear. If you're very lucky, you'll have like the end tier content for that particular expansion, and that is generally really powerful. So if you look at Cataclysm now, some of the end tier, like, is it tier 14? I actually forget. 13, isn't it? Anyway, the 4-piece bonuses we're getting on that tier is ridiculously overpowered. For hunters, we're getting like so much focus, we're just drowning in focus, and for tanks they're getting ridiculous damage mitigation. And so the difficulty is, if you're then going into the next expansion, how do you persuade people to not use that gear? In certain instances it'll just be too powerful for the leveling content. So the way that Blizzard get around that, and the way Blizzard got around this when TBC came out, because there was a lot of raid content at the end of vanilla, what they did is they basically said, right, the gear that you're going to get at the start from the starting quests in Outland is going to be kind of about the same quality as raiding gear. I don't think it was quite as good as like the best gear you could get in vanilla, but you know, the first couple of quests you would be replacing that stuff, and that was on one hand that was like quite upsetting for a lot of people, but on the other hand they were like, oh my god, I'm so powerful. So that was pretty cool. Now not so good if you're doing the Iron Man challenge, because basically to get everything to scale to that awesome gear, things had to hit a bit harder, have a bit more health, etc, etc. So you'll probably notice things are dying a lot slower now. It's kind of to be expected. We have gone through at least one massive nerf to the TBC content, so it's not quite as bad as if we were doing it when this was relevant. But but it is still noticeably harder than in vanilla. So that basically means this zone is a nice big challenge for us, which is really cool. But seeing stuff like that kicking off is a little bit scary. I don't ever remember that happening before, and that's quite a lot of elementals to be dealing with. If, let's say, I was just talking to the quest giver there, that would have been horrible. Right, anyway, so the first couple of quests we've got here are going to be a little bit tricky. At level 60, when we've got a flying mount, we can fly to one of the quest hubs in Terracar and get a new gun, which is nice. But I've got to level to 60 to do that, and then I've got to go and get my flying mount. So the first couple of quests are not amazing fun, if I'm being honest with you. Some of these quests are pretty dull. So we're collecting blood, we're collecting scrap wood and scrap metal, and now I've already done a commentary for all of this content before, and that's when I found, or rather I didn't realise I'd got a copy of my streaming content. So, but I'm redoing all of the commentary again, so I guess I should cover the same kind of things I was talking about. And first off was these quests here, and actually for a lot of these quests in this zone and this expansion, I can't really talk a massive amount about them because I didn't play World of Warcraft when TBC was out. I actually kind of quit just before AQ. I'm kind of saying that like I'm asking you whether that's right. It was actually just before Blackwing Lair came out, if I remember correctly. I remember seeing the trailer for Blackwing Lair just after I kind of quit, and then I played a little bit when AQ was out, but just not really raiding content, and then quit until just before Wrath hit, really. So all of this stuff I didn't do when it was, like, you know, proper relevant at the start of TBC. And you know, I think that's when you're really going to pay a bit more attention to the quests, and maybe you run through these quests a couple of times when you know, you're doing it with guildies and stuff like that. Now what happens generally is you hit 58 and then you start doing the Outland dungeons, and you don't really come and quest it, to be honest with you. And that's really been my experience of Outland. I have been through relatively recently on my main and done all of the Lore Master achievements, so I have done the quests, I just haven't read them, and I'm not that invested into the whole history behind TBC. But you know, I know a little bit. I know Outland is kind of like Draenor that's been busted apart by the Burning Legion and all that kind of gubbins, but I don't really know what the story is here with these orcs. We don't like them, and the Alliance don't like them either, and therefore we're going to kill them, and we're going to steal their blood, which seems a bit weird. And a bit later on in this zone we're going to kill some more of them, and then we're going to set them on fire. So I don't know, it seemed like a good idea at the time, I suppose. But these used to hit really hard in vanilla, sorry, in TBC when it was live, because I remember doing this towards the end to get ready for Wrath, and I was thinking, shit, these are hitting really hard. But I guess I was a much worse hunter back then. Truth be told, I was a bit of a noob. I still am a bit of a noob, but I know a little bit more how to play hunters, and really the nerf has helped quite a lot. Now we've just seen, I don't know if you were watching, but there is an elite patrolling this outcrop here, which actually is quite good news, because the first couple of quests here were a little bit easy. These things are going down okay, they're not any massive challenge, and I was kind of expecting to like get my ass handed to me straight away, and that didn't happen. But it was good to see that elite there, because all of the elites, for the most part in vanilla, when you're questing, have all been removed, and they've all been like toned down to like easy mobs. So it's actually kind of nice to still see the fact that they've got these patrolling elites here. I think along the road along the bottom they used to be elites, I think. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. They used to hit really, really hard. And they're still a couple of levels ahead. They're like 62, 63. We're not going to even bother going down there. And I guess the reason for that is you used to have to in TBC. You had to, if you wanted to do the quests on the other side of the zone. There's two reasons why you had to. One, you didn't have a flying mount, so you had to kind of use your land mount to get over there. And two, what they do now in World of Warcraft, it's not just in vanilla, but they kind of give you all the flight zones that are relevant to your level. So we a little bit later on we'll be flying over to the other side of the zone just by using the flight path. We don't even have to walk and pick up flight paths anymore. For the gun that we need from Terracar we do, because that's kind of a little bit above our level, so we still have to pick up that flight path. But these quests are going down pretty easy to start with. I'm not being too cocky, I'll just pull like one or two. There's a guy riding around a dog, which sounds a bit weird, but that's not too bad. We can pull him and a couple of others, and that's probably about it. At this point I'm still like really gauging how hard the mobs are hitting, and I'm walking around. I don't care if I've got like 2/3 health, it's fine. I'm not gonna die, what could possibly go wrong, he says. Okay, that's the first set of quests, I guess, done. No problem there. We've probably do with some food though. I think that's probably why I didn't top my health up. I didn't actually have any food. A bit later on I'm going to take up first aid. I've actually acquired quite a bit of money just through like doing quests and selling off the items that we're not using. And I think I've got a bit of a hoarder mentality when it comes to playing this game. I loot everything, and I sell everything, and some of the stuff goes on the auction house, some of it goes off to my main, and he'll put it on the auction house. In terms of cloth that we need for first aid, I think some of that is just like stuff that I'd sent to my main and I just had done nothing with. I don't think it's all of it though, like linen cloth and wool I think I needed to buy off the auction house. And some of the other money was like that I'd raised on my other character, so the one that died at level 33, I kind of transferred his, it's like an inheritance money I guess, came across to this character as well. Okay, we're off to the next little quest hub here, and this is where we start to get things start to get a bit more challenging, to be honest with you. We've got I guess either side, to the north and the south, we've got kind of two little quest areas that we're going to be doing a few quests in. One of them's an alliance base that's kind of like crumbled and fell off of Outland partially, and I think everybody died, but now it's just their ghosts there, and we're going to play Ghostbusters for a bit. And on the other side we've got more of these kind of pink skinned orcs that we're going to kill. I think their base is called Zethgor or something like that. And our first encounter with kind of like an orc camp, and it doesn't go entirely to plan, but we do okay. But it's good, I like that, it's a good little challenge. It made me think, it made me kind of, normally when you're questing now out in the world, you can just dive in and just go, balls out crazy, and you're not going to die. And even if you do die, who cares? You're not doing the Iron Man challenge, it doesn't care, it doesn't matter. But with this, you have to kind of think a bit more laterally about how you're going to do things, which is nice, because for the past 53 episodes or so I've been saying I want a challenge, so it's nice to actually be given a challenge. So what we're doing at the minute, I think we're picking up stuff off these, more blood I think. What is it about the blood here? Maybe these are like Someone please tell me what it is with these orcs. Maybe they're kind of like partially corrupted by demons or something. But anyway, we're going to get their blood and we're going to put it in that big cauldron that you can. Well, it's just gone off screen to the right. And typically, what would you expect would come out of a cauldron when we put orc blood in it? But Nerubian beetles, of course. Bit weird, but there you go. That's WoW for you. And we need to pick up 12 of those bloods, and they spawn particularly, well, they drop particularly badly, as do most old quests that require drops. So there we go. We get those beetles come out, and we don't really need to kill the beetles. But to prevent you from just sitting there putting all of the bloods into the cauldron at once, every now and then you'll get a beetle that will aggro, and what you would generally do in that case is do some kind of AoE, and then they all attack you, and then if you're not careful you might die. But we are careful, so we're not going to die. Anyway, we need more bloods before we can do those, so we're going to continue on killing these poor little peons. And I don't know why did we pick on that hellboar? We don't need to kill hellboar yet. But after more, there's flowers as well, and another kind of pointless, needless quest. The flowers are really badly spread out, and I think there was other people in this zone doing the quest at the same time, so we were kind of fighting for the drops of those a little bit. I think it's bad now. Imagine doing it on TBC release. It would have been fucking horrible. One of those quests that will probably take you 4 days to complete. Anyway, yeah, I get a bit worried about those beetles. They're yellow. They're not going to attack. In hindsight, I was being overcautious. But they despawn after a few seconds anyway. So that's not a problem. And then we just have to get 12 of those. It takes a little bit of time. But nothing we can't handle. I think at the end I just decided to do a few at once and then pick off the ones that aggro onto us, like any decent player would have done from the start. Okay, that's that done. A few more flowers to pick up and then we can head back. One more, come on, there we go. Are we gonna ding? Oh, not quite. So we're not going to go fully into Zethgor yet. We have dinged level 60 though. We're going to kill these Alliance ghosts. We have a number of these. We have mages, knights, which are riding around on horses, and these kind of guys that are just like chilling on this ridge. I don't really know what they're doing. I think they're looking out, but what? I mean, I've seen the Fell Reaver there in the background just kind of trample all over these guys, and they don't do anything. So, worst lookouts ever. But yes, the Fell Reaver. Oh, the Fell Reaver. What a pain in the ass he is. Okay, so, I mean, at this point, I'm surprised I didn't just go and get my mount straight away, because it would have... Flying mount would have saved me so much time. Doing these quests now with a flying mount is just so easy, because you can just skip over everything. It's... Well, maybe it's not easy, but it's certainly a lot quicker than it used to be. Right, well, I'm going to finish off these quests. Pretty dull quests. The mobs here are pretty spread out. We've got a couple of patrols, but nothing of massive interest. I shall see you next time. We're still going to be in 720p for at least the next episode. Again, terribly sorry about that. We will be back soon. Normal service will resume with 1080p and proper in-game audio. and I shall see you next time. See you then.